You have been told a story. It is the oldest story, the first story, etched into the walls of tombs and whispered in the flickering firelight of a civilization that has long since turned to dust. It is the story of light against darkness, of order against chaos, of a golden sun god sailing an eternal sky and a monstrous serpent lurking in the abyss, waiting to devour him. You have been told that this is a war, a simple, brutal, and never-ending battle for the survival of creation itself. But what if that story was a lie? A beautiful, simple lie designed to shield you from a truth so terrifying and profound it would shatter your entire understanding of reality. What if the battle was never meant to be won? What if it was a sacred, terrifying balance? What if, to sustain the very fabric of existence, a part of the light had to be willingly sacrificed to the dark every single night for all of eternity? You have been taught to fear the serpent. Now you will learn to understand the covenant it keeps. This is the exoteric myth, the one written for the uninitiated. At the dawn of time, the great god Ra, embodiment of the sun and source of all life, brings forth the created world. Each day he begins a majestic journey across the heavens in his man-jet bark, the bark of millions of years. As he sails, he brings light, warmth, and life to the world of the living. His passage is order. His presence is existence. The world beneath him flourishes in his gaze. But the day is only half the story. As the sun sets, dyeing the western desert in hues of blood and twilight, Ra's journey is not over. It has only just begun its most perilous phase. He must descend into the Duat, the Egyptian underworld, a realm of darkness, demons, and the spirits of the dead. Here, he boards a different vessel, the Mesektet bark, and begins a 12-hour journey through the night, a journey that mirrors the process of death, judgment, and rebirth. This is not a peaceful passage, for in the deepest, darkest regions of the Duat, a primordial horror awaits. Its name is Apophis, or Apep, the serpent of chaos. He is not a creature born of the earth. He is an entity born of the uncreation itself. He is the antithesis of Ra, the embodiment of Isfet, the cosmic principle of chaos, dissolution, and the return to the void. Apophis is not motivated by hunger or ambition as a mortal creature would be. His entire being is a gravitational pull toward non-existence. His one and only purpose is to swallow the Mesektet bark, to extinguish the light of Ra, and in so doing, to unmake creation and plunge the universe back into the eternal, silent darkness from which it came. Every night, according to the myth, this cosmic battle takes place. As Ra's bark drifts through the winding caverns of the underworld, the great serpent attacks. The waters of the Duat roil and churn. Apophis's hypnotic gaze attempts to stop the bark in its tracks. His monstrous coils thrash and constrict. His deafening roar echoes through the darkness, threatening to shatter the resolve of the gods. But Ra is not alone. He is surrounded by a host of powerful deities who act as his guardians. At the prow of the ship stands Set, the god of chaos and brute force, now paradoxically the chief defender of divine order, who repels the serpent with a spear of iron. Isis uses her powerful magic to cast spells that confuse and bind the beast. Thoth, the god of wisdom, uses his knowledge of cosmic lore to navigate the bark through the serpent's treacherous enchantments. The battle is ferocious, a nightly struggle for the fate of all existence. And every morning, as the first light of dawn breaks on the eastern horizon, it is a sign that Ra has been victorious once more. He has defeated the serpent, emerged from the Duat, and been reborn to begin his journey across the sky again. This is the story you were told, a story of heroes and monsters, of a clear and righteous war. It is comforting, it is simple, and it is a complete and utter illusion. The truth is not a war, it is a bargain. Now, we must peel back the veil of myth and look upon the engine of reality itself. The battle between Ra and Apophis is not a war, it is a ritual. The outcome is not uncertain. It is ordained by a law so fundamental that even the gods themselves cannot break it. To understand this, you must go back beyond Ra, beyond Apophis, to the moment before the first moment. Before creation, there was only the primordial stillness, the unmanifest potential that the Egyptians called Atum, the All. It was everything and nothing, a state of perfect unity, without form, without time, without consciousness of itself. But for existence to occur, the one had to become the many. Atum had to differentiate, to create from within himself the very principles of existence. And in that first explosive act of creation, the most fundamental law of the universe was born, the law of polarity. For light to exist, there must be a concept of darkness. For order to exist, there must be a potential for chaos. For being to exist, there must be a principle of non-being. One cannot exist without the other. They are two sides of the same cosmic coin. Ra, as the firstborn of creation, is the embodiment of Ma'at, the principle of divine order, truth, light, and manifest existence. He is the force that pushes outward from the center, the impulse of the universe to be, to become, to experience itself. But in the very same moment that this force was born, its perfect and equal opposite was also defined. This is Apophis. He is not a creature or a demon in the way you have been taught. He is a cosmic principle. He is the force that pulls inward toward the center. He is the universe's memory of the silence and unity that existed before creation. He is entropy. He is the law that all ordered systems must eventually decay and return to a state of disorder. He is the gravitational pull of the void. Ra, in his infinite wisdom, understood this from the very beginning. He understood that Apophis was not an enemy to be defeated, for to destroy the principle of entropy would be to destroy the very possibility of change, of time, of growth, of life and death. A universe without Apophis would be a static, frozen, and meaningless crystal of perfect light, forever unchanging, forever dead. To destroy the principle of non-being would be to annihilate the context that gives meaning to being itself. The serpent could not be killed, but its hunger, the endless pull of the void, was real. If left unchecked, it would swallow creation. So a covenant had to be made. A dark bargain had to be struck at the foundation of the world. Ra, as the sustainer of manifest reality, could not destroy the force of uncreation, but he could appease it, he could balance it. This is the esoteric core, the truth that was hidden behind the violent myths. Each night, as Ra enters the Duat, his journey is not a battle for survival. It is an act of sacred sacrifice. To maintain the delicate balance of existence, to ensure that the forces of dissolution do not overwhelm the forces of creation, Ra must willingly feed the serpent. He must give a portion of his own divine essence, a measure of his life force, a quantum of his sacred light to Apophis. It is a cosmic tribute, the price that the light must pay to the darkness for the privilege of existing in a polarized universe. The nightly battle is the ritual of this transaction. The struggle you read about is the symbolic representation of Ra wrestling with this terrible necessity, the agony of a god willingly surrendering a piece of himself to the very force that seeks his annihilation. This is why the battle is eternal. It is a repeating cycle, a cosmic heartbeat of sacrifice and rebirth. Ra dies a little each night, giving his energy to the void, so that he may be reborn, renewed at dawn. The sun does not rise in spite of the darkness. It rises because of a price paid to it. This is the dark covenant at the heart of reality, the secret that existence is not a war, but a terrifyingly perfect and symbiotic relationship between the creator and the uncreator. Once you grasp the truth of this covenant, the entire architecture of reality begins to shift. You are no longer living in a universe of random violence, but in a precisely balanced system of cosmic laws. Apophis is not a monster. He is a function. He is the great compressor, the cosmic pressure that gives form and meaning to all of creation. Imagine a universe without him, a universe with only the expansive, outward-pushing force of Ra. It would be a reality of endless expansion, of light without shadow, of form without boundary. Consciousness would have no friction, no challenge, no reason to evolve. It would exist in a state of placid, meaningless bliss, a heaven without the context of hell, and therefore a heaven without meaning. Apophis provides the necessary resistance. He is the shadow that allows the light to define itself. He is the threat of dissolution that forces life to become stronger, more complex, more conscious, more coherent. The serpent is the ultimate catalyst for evolution. Every time he attacks the solar bark, he is testing the integrity of creation. He is forcing the gods, the principles of existence, to reaffirm their purpose, to strengthen their resolve, to prove that existence is still worth the effort. The fear of death, the fear of the void, the fear of annihilation, this is the pressure that Apophis applies to your own soul. It is not a punishment. It is a tool. It is the force that compels you to seek meaning, to create, to love, to become more than you are, because you know that your time is not infinite. The serpent is the engine of urgency. The Duat, the underworld, must also be reframed. It is not a literal hell beneath the earth. It is the alchemical chamber of the cosmos. It is the subconscious, the realm of shadow, dream, and potential. It is the dark womb from which all new life must emerge. Ra's nightly journey is the blueprint for every process of transformation. To be reborn, you must first be willing to die. You must be willing to descend into your own darkness, to face the unresolved, the repressed, the feared aspects of yourself. This is the great work of the alchemists, the nigredo, the blackening, the descent into the primal matter of the psyche. Ra's journey is the model for this work. He does not avoid the underworld. He enters it willingly every night, knowing that this descent is the necessary prerequisite for his ascent at dawn. And he does not travel alone. The guardians on his bark are not just a random assortment of divine bodyguards. They are the personified faculties of the awakened soul, the tools you must have to navigate your own inner darkness. Thoth, the principle of divine intellect, is there. He represents the higher mind, the wisdom that can see the path when the five senses are blind. He is the faculty of discernment, the part of you that can read the symbolic language of the subconscious and not be fooled by its illusions. Without Thoth, the journey would be aimless, but wisdom alone is not enough. At the prow of the ship, facing the serpent head-on, is Set. This is the most profound paradox. Set, the very being who murdered Osiris and usurped the throne, the original agent of chaos, is now the chief defender of the divine order. This symbolizes the complete integration of the ego. It is the recognition that the raw, primal, and even violent forces within you are not your enemy once they have been subdued and placed in the service of a higher purpose. Your aggression, your ambition, your instinctual power, these are the very energies needed to confront the existential terror of the void. You cannot face your deepest fears with gentle thoughts and peaceful intentions alone. You need the spear of Set. You need a grounded, powerful, and unwavering force that says, "I will not be consumed." The journey through the Duat requires both the subtle wisdom of Thoth and the brutal strength of an integrated Set. It requires the whole self. This eternal, nightly ritual is the ultimate expression of the balance between Ma'at and Isfet. True cosmic order, Ma'at, is not a static state of perfection where chaos has been eliminated. That is a fragile and dead utopia. True Ma'at is a dynamic, living equilibrium. It is the state of containing and balancing chaos within a larger framework of order. It is the perfect dance between the force of creation and the force of dissolution. The universe does not exist by defeating chaos. It exists by perpetually integrating it. Ra's covenant with Apophis is not a sign of his weakness. It is the source of his enduring strength. It is the divine acknowledgement that for the sun to rise, a price must always be paid to the darkness. And that price is not a tragedy. It is the sacred mechanics of a living, breathing, and eternally evolving cosmos. Now, the veil must be pulled back completely. This grand cosmic drama is not taking place in a distant sky or a mythological underworld. It is taking place within you, right now, in your blood, in your bones, in your nervous system. The covenant between Ra and Apophis was not just a deal made by distant gods at the dawn of time. You are living it every single day of your life. You are the vessel in which this eternal ritual unfolds. Ra is your higher self. He is your divine spark, your Christ consciousness, your Buddha nature. He is the part of you that is inherently connected to the source, the impulse within you that seeks to expand, to create, to love, to be aware. He is your will to live, the radiant, conscious energy that animates your form and drives you toward the light of truth and understanding. Every moment of joy, of clarity, of pure presence, you are embodying Ra. You are sailing the sunlit sky of the conscious mind. And Apophis is your shadow. He is not an external devil or a force of evil that is tempting you. He is an integral part of your own being. He is your personal entropy, the part of you that pulls toward unconsciousness. He is your self-sabotage, your deepest fears, your unresolved traumas, your addictions. He is the voice of your depression that whispers, "None of this matters. It's too hard. Just give up. Just go back to sleep." He is your fear of annihilation, the primal terror of non-existence that lives in the reptile brain. He is the gravitational pull of all your unhealed wounds, the part of you that resists change, that clings to the familiar misery rather than risking the uncertainty of growth. You have been taught to hate this part of yourself, to fight it, to suppress it, to pretend it isn't there. But this is the great mistake. To fight your shadow is to give it more power. To ignore it is to allow it to grow in the dark until it becomes so vast and so hungry that it attempts to swallow you whole. This is the root of crisis, of breakdown, of the dark night of the soul. It is the serpent, ignored for too long, finally rising to consume the sun. The Dark Covenant is your daily spiritual practice. It is the conscious choice to stop fighting your shadow and start negotiating with it. You cannot destroy your inner Apophis. You can only integrate it, and integration requires sacrifice. Every day you must be willing to sail your own solar bark into the Duat of your subconscious. You must be willing to give a part of your conscious energy, your time, your attention, your courage, to face the serpent within. This is the work. It is sitting in meditation when your mind is screaming. It is facing the painful memory instead of numbing it with a distraction. It is having the difficult conversation instead of hiding in silence. It is choosing the discipline of creating your future over the comfort of repeating your past. Each of these acts is you, as Ra, willingly sacrificing a portion of your light to feed the serpent. You are giving your awareness to the darkness. And here is the alchemical secret. When you consciously give your light to the shadow does not extinguish the light. It is transformed by it. By facing your fear, you metabolize it. By sitting with your pain, you dissolve it. You are not strengthening Apophis. You are appeasing his hunger with your conscious attention, and in doing so, you are integrating his power. The energy that was locked up in that fear, in that trauma, is released, and you are reborn the next morning, not weaker, but stronger, more whole, with more of your own Hor available to you. You have taken a piece of the darkness and converted it into fuel for the light. This is the true meaning of what you resist persists. You must turn and face the beast, not with a sword to kill it, but with an offering of your own presence. This is why avoiding your inner work is so dangerous. If you refuse to make the nightly journey, if you stay in the sunlit world of distraction and positivity-only spirituality, your inner Apophis does not go away. It starves. And a starving serpent becomes a ravenous monster. It will eventually rise from the depths and attack, not in the controlled environment of your chosen spiritual practice, but in the chaos of your external life. It will manifest as illness, as financial ruin, as the collapse of relationships, as a devastating psychological breakdown. It will force you into the underworld. The covenant gives you a choice. Will you enter the Duat on your own terms as a sovereign god making a conscious sacrifice? Or will you be dragged into it, kicking and screaming as a victim? The journey is inevitable. The only choice is your posture. You were never meant to live a life free of darkness. You were meant to be a master of it. You are meant to be the living embodiment of Ra, the one who descends into the abyss each night and rises again each dawn, not by luck, but by law. Your struggles are not a sign that you are broken. They are a sign that the serpent is demanding its due. The covenant is calling to be honored. The price for your own dawn is waiting to be paid. The sun does not rise in spite of the darkness. It rises because of a price paid to it. This one truth, hidden in the heart of the Ra Apophis myth, is the key to all spiritual mastery. Your life is not a war against your own shadow. It is a sacred and continuous negotiation. Your growth, your clarity, your very evolution depend not on your ability to vanquish the serpent, but on your willingness to meet it, to understand its function, and to honor the covenant. Every night, whether you are aware of it or not, your own solar bark, the vessel of your consciousness, slips beneath the horizon of the waking world and begins its journey through the Duat of your subconscious. In the depths of your dreams, in the silent spaces of your mind, you will meet your serpent. You will meet the raw, primal fear of non-existence. You will meet the coiled energy of your unhealed traumas. You will meet the seductive pull of your own self-sabotage. The meeting is not optional. It is a fundamental law of your being. The only question is not whether you will fight. The question is, do you understand the price of the dawn? Most people fight unconsciously. They toss and turn in their sleep, chased by nightmares. They wake up with a vague sense of anxiety, a heavy feeling they can't name. They move through their days with a low-grade dread, constantly distracting themselves, constantly running from a shadow they refuse to look at. They are fighting, yes, but they are fighting a losing battle. They are fighting like victims, trying to fend off a monster they do not understand, and they are slowly being drained of their light without ever knowing why. They are honoring the covenant, but they are doing it unconsciously, and therefore they are being consumed by it instead of transformed by it. The path of the initiate is to make this process conscious. It is to choose to be Ra. It is to understand that the darkness is not an invader. It is an integral part of your own totality. Your work is not to slay Apophis, but to integrate him. You do this by creating your own rituals of descent. Your meditation is a journey into the Duat. Your journaling is a dialogue with the serpent. Your shadow work is the conscious act of feeding your awareness to the parts of you that have been starved of light. It is difficult, terrifying work. It requires you to look upon the parts of yourself you have been taught to despise. But this is the price. You must willingly surrender a piece of your comfort, a piece of your certainty, a piece of your ego's control, and offer it to the darkness. When you do this consciously, the dynamic changes. You are no longer the victim in the dark. You are the God who journeys through it. You bring the light within you, and the serpent, when met with this conscious, unwavering presence, does not destroy you. It yields its power to you. The fear, when faced, becomes a source of incredible courage. The trauma, when held in the light of your awareness, becomes a wellspring of deep compassion. The self-sabotage, when understood, reveals the part of you that was only ever trying to protect you, and its misguided energy can be redirected toward creation. This is the alchemy. You are taking the base lead of your shadow and transforming it into the gold of integrated consciousness. You are not just surviving the night, you are using the night to become more whole. This is the great secret that has been kept from you. The systems of this world thrive on your fear of the dark. Religions have turned the serpent into a devil to be feared and fought. Psychology has often treated the shadow as a pathology to be managed or medicated. Consumer culture offers you an endless array of distractions to keep you from ever having to enter your own Duat. All of it is designed to keep you from realizing the truth, that the power you seek is hidden in the very place you have been taught to avoid. They have taught you to be a perpetual warrior against a part of yourself, a war that can never be won and that will only ever leave you exhausted and fragmented. You are here to end that war. You are here to become a master of the covenant. You are here to learn how to be both the sun and the night, to hold the brilliant light of your highest potential and the profound darkness of your deepest fears in a single, unified awareness. This is what it means to be a whole human being. It is what it means to be a god in form. So do not fear your darkness. Do not curse the serpent when it rises. Recognize it. It is a signal that the covenant is calling. It is an invitation to go deeper, to sacrifice a little more of your illusion for a little more of your truth. Every night is an opportunity. Every struggle is a classroom. The journey of Ra is your journey. The victory is not guaranteed by some external force. It is earned every single day by your willingness to pay the price. So ask yourself, as you stand on the precipice of your own inner darkness, what am I willing to sacrifice for the dawn? What part of my comfortable illusion am I willing to feed to the serpent so that I may be reborn as the sun? The answer to that question will determine the trajectory of your entire existence. The choice is yours. The bark is waiting. The serpent is stirring.